I'm here at ASN Kidney Week 2019 with HHS advisor Nick Uehlecke. Nick, you have really moved mountains behind the scenes at HHS to help develop the Presidential Executive Order on Advancing American Kidney Health, and I know you're working on its implementation on a daily basis. So thank you for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me.
As we at ASN know, you've played a really pivotal role in helping to execute the Advancing American Kidney Health Initiative Executive Order. I'm curious, what excites you most about this initiative?
You know, what's really exciting about it is that I've had the chance to work with the kidney community for probably 6-7 years, extending back into my time in Congress. And it's a community that is very tightly knit, all the way from the patients all the way up to transplant surgeons. I think in the entire continuum of care, everyone knows each other, and to be honest with you, if you tell one person one thing, everybody knows by the end of the day, which sounds terrible, but it is really exciting. But what's really exciting about it is that, and the Secretary speaks about the forgotten man often, and I think that this community honestly has just not necessarily been forgotten, but they've been put to the side for a while. We've let this business model kind of take over the actual healthcare of it, while management of healthcare, Medicare Advantage, and health plans have become more and more mobile and flexible to really care for the beneficiaries to their level. For this patient population, I feel as though we've really taken a step back and not understood how much management could help them. And so I think what excites me is that all this national attention, and we have the alignment of the stars. We have the president, the secretary, and several principals at HHS, all who are very excited and personally touched by the community. And so truly it's to take steps forward, understanding that I know that many of my predecessors have tried to move forward, but to be able to actually get things actionably done. And again, if we can save just 10 people, we've already won, but I know that our goals far exceed that.
So just this week, we at ASN were thrilled to have President Mark Rosenberg sign a memorandum of understanding with HHS Secretary Alex Azar and National Kidney Foundation CEO Kevin Longino to execute the Section 3 of the executive order to launch a kidney awareness campaign. Can you talk about why the administration was so fixated and prioritized elevating public awareness about kidney diseases and what you think that might change moving forward for the course of kidney care?
You know, when the awareness campaign was put into Section 3, it was largely one of those, everyone's like, okay, yeah, obviously we have to do that. And then once it was signed and we looked at the infrastructure and the manpower that was needed for Section 3, we realized it might be actually one of the bigger sections of the executive order. And so, you know, when we're looking at it that way, the importance of awareness when you're talking about a patient population, I think that, and I don't like to do this, but we want to talk about costs for just 1 second. The patient population, and we saw that earlier in Dr. Rosenberg's speech, where 1% of the population is covered by 7% of the costs, and that doesn't have to be. But you know, when you're looking at kind of the future of healthcare, and we talk about the trust fund and solvency and things like that, there are some scary numbers in this community that are even scarier than they are today. You know, and awareness is going to be one of the answers to that question. And that's not to say, and I think that we saw this in the social media universe after the announcement, we're not saying that individual nephrologists and individual practices and individual hospitals and providers aren't doing a great job today. We're saying that as a community, we haven't done a great job of providing the public with the amount of education that's necessary to get us moving forward. And the examples are really in the pudding, right? And when you look offshore and you say, okay, so 1% of the population is costing that much. Well, the unfortunate part is that we're thinking that maybe up to 33% of the country is suffering from some level of kidney disease. And of that percentage, right, the people that have CKD, we're saying that almost half of that population isn't even aware that they're in CKD 3 or 4. And that's ultimately pre-crash. And so if we're talking about that large of a potential population that's maybe crashing into ESRD over the course of the next few years, we may as well forget about solvency conversations. So I think making people aware, and then the important parts are the small things that people can do themselves and to empower themselves as patients to move forward on that. Examples are what you can and can't eat. You know, I've had individual family physicians talk to me about how they're trying to help people with their diets that are suffering from chronic kidney disease. And even the doctors themselves aren't fully informed on the fact that, you know, animal proteins and other types of foods can actually increase the speed for which you progress into the later stages of CKD. And that's not to take away someone's favorite foods or anything like that, but realistically, I think awareness has to be there.
One of the things that I'm most excited about the executive order is its focus on innovation. Can you talk a little bit more about that and where your heads are at HHS about how to really drive that forward on multiple fronts?
On technology, I think one thing that and we'll talk about this later today probably several times, but supply and demand are just something that you're not going to realize when it comes to this community. They're realistically, as much as I would love to see a world, and you see Donate Life, and you see the Fresenius Foundation, you see some of these other groups out there that are really an NKF and ASN really pushing, live donation. We're working on a rule right now that's going to expand our ability to remove disincentives to live donation, covering lost wages, travel, things like that. But even in our greatest dreams, I do not think that we're going to be able to achieve the amount of live kidneys and death donor kidneys that are necessary. And so we've realized, how do we combat that? And you look around the country, and I've met some very wonky academics that are doing really, really cool things, growing kidneys in other animals, building out what are artificial kidneys on the wearable side, implantable side. The human body is an incredible thing, and I honestly don't know if I appreciated that comment enough until I started studying the kidney as much as I do today. The kidney and the pancreas and their work together to be able to function, and what they do to cells as they pass through those organs, is incredible. And technological advances we're seeing to mimic the kidney and pancreas today are advancing very much. And what we want to make sure is it's not lost. The unfortunate part, I think, about the investment community as a whole is that you invest in things that are going to return very quickly, and you see that a lot right now in some parts of healthcare. But what we have to push for is an immediacy to investing in what we're seeing as, it won't be a short term potentially, because short term investments in dialysis are in dialysis. As we know it today. And that's why we're trying to change that reimbursement structure. So we believe that move to home is going to push for greater technology. And what the Secretary is committed to in Section 6 of the executive order really pushes for is, all right, let's put a governmental investment in the people that are studying these technological advancements, especially in the academic community. And so you see that through Kidney X, which is awarded in dialysis, and then in patients are next. And I think the step after that is going to be about the artificial kidney. And how do we get there? Again, it's really, really cool people in this environment, but our hope is that our investment, our MOU and education with you all and the NKF are going to be able to push more of the folks in this world that really do want to invest in better healthcare and better outcomes for patients to understand that investing in these greater technologies will get us to a place where, like other countries, we don't have a wait list, which, again, it might not mean that you're getting a live kidney, but there are so many people on the wait list that aren't able to get live or death donor kidneys because they're too sick, where we believe that some of these artificial products are going to be able to take that place later on in the progression of disease.
Nick, thank you so much for everything you do on a daily basis, and thank you for being here at Kidney Week.
Thank you.
We look forward to continuing the collaboration.
I really look forward to it.